Few games nowadays manage to capture the pure essence of fun I remember having when friends would come over to play Nintendo 64 or when entire college dorms would log on to Xbox Live to play Halo 3 in 2007 when it first dropped. We're showing our age here, but after major multiplayer releases like Halo Infinite and Overwatch 2 have failed, and with free-to-play games like Fortnite dominating the scene, I really like to bring more attention to a game that focuses on fun gameplay, teamwork, and bringing people together. This is our return. This is Splatoon 3. Can you believe the Splatoon series is going to be 8 years old next year? We've come a long way from I am honestly a little vexed as to why the biggest video game launch in Japan ever is hardly being talked about in the States. This game has sold 3.4 million units in 3 days over there. So what's the big appeal? You are honestly getting so much value from this game that the only thing missing here is the toy inside. The game is jam-packed with so many modes and things to do that even man-children will weep because they too can partake in this endeavor with little to no judgment. Don't quote me on that. So what kind of value are we getting from our $60 purchase? What you get is an amazingly fun single-player campaign, a finely tuned multiplayer experience with a new lobby system in place, a PvE mode that is an absolute blast, a card game, extensive shops, plazas, customization opportunities, and whatever this is. I love this little art. With a lot of new games being released as broken, unplayable messes full of microtransactions, Splatoon 3 just says, hold my beer. Line up for yours, man children.
Can I get a chicken nugget Happy Meal?
4 piece or 6?
4?
Boy or girl?
Man.
I'm sorry, what was that?
For those of you unfamiliar, at its core, Splatoon 3 is a third-person shooter where the point of the game is to ink more territory than your opponents. In between matches, you will spend your hard-earned cash buying stat-boosting clothing and weapons. The name of the game here is Swim and Shoot. Swim and Shoot. You do get a few points from killing opponents, but the actual benefit of what the game calls splatting is gaining a few valuable seconds to cover more ground in your color, while the kill of the day has fun respawning. You get more points for painting than you do actively killing your opponents. This in turn makes for some tense matches, and it is a breath of fresh air when it comes to gameplay variation as opposed to your original deathmatch that has been done to death. Pun intended. New weapons, specials, and new tactical moves such as the dodge have made this the best iteration of Splatoon to play. It is absolutely one of those games that is easy to pick up but hard to master. Plus, the 3-minute structure for matches will have you saying one more game more than you care to admit to. If you are an old head, chances are that you were there in 2001 at the very beginning of the Halo saga. If that is the case, you will see some similarities to Splatoon. Reason being is that each sequel did not change the formula or deviate from the story too far. Instead, it just built on what was already there. And I can safely say that Splatoon is a series that has evolved minimally and tremendously at the same time. The missions are structured in a way that you're only doing them from 2 to 5 minutes at a time. This in turn keeps you on your toes and urges that one more game mentality, even in single player. Having played the first, second, Octo expansion and the third has really allowed me to appreciate the subtle changes that they made over the years, making Octo expansion the groundwork for Splatoon 3's campaign, and moving all the collectibles to the overworld works incredibly well. I actually want to explore now. Nintendo learned from its past ventures and has made everything about this campaign bigger and better. You swim through several different islands while chomping away at fuzzy stuff with your trusty companion Small Fry. There is plenty to do here if multiplayer is not your forte. I can safely say that 3 has the best campaign in the whole series. Octo was a bit hard and made me angry several times. But I love this song. Speaking of songs, I would be an absolute fool to give a review on Splatoon 3 and not talk about the music. I am one of those few vocal minorities that will speak on the importance of music in video games, and the Splatoon series has never been one to shy away from spending money in the studio to get some thumping tracks. For the love of the Desperate Housewives, have you seen the actual concerts Nintendo has facilitated for holograms of these squid girls? The way they also make the music match the intensity of the gameplay, especially in campaign, has made me an absolute fan of all the idol Splat girls. But Marina is hands down the best, and she will always have a special place in my heart. So is this game all warm fuzzies? No, there are some flaws. Some may say that the learning curve for certain weapons is quite steep. Frankly, my main concern is the lack of voice chat and the fact that a lot of useful features have been hidden behind the phone app. I also wish that they would implement more of the mechanics from the single player into the multiplayer. Those grind rails are fun. The online connections can at times drop you out of games for no reason, even with a wired connection, and some will argue that there is not much different from the predecessors. To that I say, go back and play the old games and you will see how these small tweaks all come together here. A bigger gripe that I have is that I truly agree with everyone's sentiment. Turf War should be added to rank mode and Tower Defense / Payload should be added to casual. These modes should be intermingling. Despite these complaints, I will say that this game respects your time and it is a complete package. Very few games make me want to take the time to get all the collectibles, let alone boot up the old iterations of them to see what has changed or what I have missed. While some may argue that the differences are minimal, they are big enough to matter. This is a game that both kids and adults can enjoy. Hey, this is a game that kids, adults, preteens, and forever man children can enjoy together. People, I know at this point in the game you own at least one Switch in your household, so hop online, add your friends and family members, and have some fun inking some turf and splatting each other. I call it the return because this game has provided so many quality of life changes to an already working formula. Just like with Halo 3, this is the big one. The one that gets eyes on, the one that finishes the fight. Splatoon 3 is doing the damn thing and it's doing it big. This one is the complete package and an absolute must buy. Thank you so much for watching my video in its entirety. It really means a lot to me. For those of you that watch the entire thing, please comment purple noodle, that way I know who my real ones are. Make sure that you are liking, commenting, and subscribing. It helps me out tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. And with that said, Melee Master 6 out.